I'm Calvin Austin III, wide receiver for the University of Memphis.
It's Anthony Sane for Sports 66 Mornings.
This is Rodney Williams, tight end for the Denver Broncos.
This is Tommy Hayes.
This is EJ Manuel, and you're listening to No Cap Sports.
With No Cap Sports.
And the No Cap Sports.
No Cap Sports, three of the hardest grinding brothers in the business.
Welcome back. Another edition of No Cap Sports, man. I'm coming to y'all live the day after the Super Bowl, but we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl. But I will say, somebody on this call, on this Zoom, on this episode, went 3-0 over their last three pick'em games. I'm not going to say who it is, but I just
It's probably me, huh?
Boy, hell no. Because the Bengals or the 49ers won in the Super Bowl. We can pull that back up. You went 0 for 2 game.
So you the Eli Manning of this podcast, what you saying? You asked the rest of the year and you good in crunch time. Like you can have that distinction, bro. I'll let you have it, Eli Manning. You good.
What does breaking the scoring record say for LeBron's legacy? Because if you ask me, he's still the same mid-ass player he was before he broke the scoring record. So I want to see what y'all think.
Where do you rank him all time?
Would I rank him all the time? He top 5. He not 1, 2, or 3 though. What does it do for his legacy? Does it push his legacy?
It really
forward?
did nothing, bro, to be honest. And then, in my eyes,
it did. So they stopped the game, bro. And that was a close game. It did something.
A game they ended up losing by damn near 20, but continue.
But either way it goes, it's just like whatever I thought about LeBron before he broke this record, bro, I already knew he was already a great player. Like, he had to drop 36 points. And them folks showed up for that game. No, some fans probably thought he was going to break it till Thursday. He went ahead, he chased the record. That's pretty live. Everybody's in the state.
OKC. Oh, God. I was like, you know how old Kareem is? He ain't going to be going to every game. He knew what Kareem was. He's like, let me go ahead and break it out.
Man brought his best fit out, bro, rocking the Adidas.
No cap.
That was so icy boys on the sidelines for sure. For sure.
Hey, nah, Kareem was hated, bro. He was looking at the scoreboard every time the niggas.
I mean, I don't know.
The way the man gave him the ball was good. He was like, you
a hater, bro.
Well, he gave him a Euro step to get a basketball fool. Like, why he do Braun like that? That was some hate for sure.
Imagine if he just held it out, like to give it to LeBron, looked at it, and then shot a little fuck you 3, brother, to take the record back.
He needs 2 more points. Bruh, I see what you're saying though, man. That makes a lot of sense. Like, whatever you thought about LeBron before he broke this record, like you said, Nick, in the game that they lost and that they kind of needed, like it is, this shouldn't really change nothing in your mind. But it's still significant enough to like, again, I'm pretty immune to like narrative implanted media bias, whatever. But it is crazy that a guy that we literally look as, like, I critique the most for his career, not wanting to score, making the right play and stuff, has gotten to the point longevity-wise that he literally the greatest scorer ever. Like, that means something. So
yeah. No, I was just going to say, I agree with you. What it means is he's had the longest and healthiest career out of all of the greats we could possibly name. You know what I'm saying? And that is something in itself, but I don't think it says anything as far as his standing amongst those great players.
Bro, LeBron been hooping since we was kids in elementary school. We grown men now. Ain't like, come on, bro. I've never seen anything like this except for Tom Brady in football. I've never seen anything like this in basketball where at year 20 you still hooping. He hasn't slowed down. He's still top 5 in scoring. Still
that's fact.
30 a night.
Bro, like, come on, bro. He looks like he could do this for another 5 years. I'm a knock on wood, bro, but he ain't never like tore ACL or anything, bro. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. As far as he's the greatest player that's had the longest and most injury-free career. Like, personally, the only thing I can think back to when he missed significant time was that groin injury. I want to say it was either his first or second year with the Lakers. That's the only time I can think of where he missed significant time to where it's like, he's rehabbing and things like that. He had the broken face stuff in Miami. Didn't miss time with that. And he's had like little nicks and things every now and then. But other than that, he's one of the healthiest players we've ever seen play the game. Any game at that.
But just like, how can you say Kareem is better than him? I mean, Kareem is nice. Will he be better than prime Dwight Howard?
No.
I think so.
No.
I think
prime Dwight Howard Kareem is not taking Jameer Nelson and company to the finals.
If you throw prime Dwight Howard in the 70s and 80s, bro, they gonna say he the greatest player of all time.
That is, you might have a point, bro.
That should look like Joanna Man if was in Dwight Howard was back in the day with them, like a man playing against women, literally. Like, come on, because Dwight Howard was an athlete against in the NBA regular. So put him back against Dick Palmer and the boys, he going stupid.
I mean, I'm just saying, bro. Personally, for my money, if you just look at Kareem record, bro, there's no way he's not top 3. 6-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 6-time League MVP, 19-time All-Star. He only played 20 years. 10-time All-NBA first team, 5-time second team, 5-time defensive first team, Rookie of the Year, and he was a 2-time scoring champion.
But he's not better than LeBron James. He's not better than LeBron James.
I'm saying, bro, Nick, you're reading stuff off of paper.
LeBron only
have eyes.
LeBron led the league in scoring once. How many rings does LeBron have? 3?
Yeah, 4.
Okay, what? 4 for 8? 4 for 9?
4 for 11.
4 for 10.
Oh wow, I was trying to do him a justice. 4 for 11 is horrendous. Let's continue. 4 for 11 in the finals. He's got 4 league MVPs. I'm just saying, bro. I don't make the rules. I just enforce the rules.
Bro, I know you haven't seen Kareem play. Ain't nobody in here seen Kareem play for real. Maybe like a clip or some clips, some highlights or something, but I don't care, bro. He's not better than LeBron James.
The rings.
That's what I'm saying, Nick. You read a lot of
scored. All of that would say otherwise.
So a pickup basketball game, everybody in their prime, you taking Kareem before you take LeBron.
No.
Boy, if he gonna be sending that shit back.
I'm trying to understand, bro. It's just like,
I mean, I just think in terms of the impact Kareem had on the game, looking at how he changed the game because he was too dominant at the game, where they said, "Hey, you can't dunk no more, big bro. I'm sorry." Changed the whole rules of the game.
No, I mean that's impressive, bro. Like,
and I that's why I put him over LeBron. Don't get me wrong, I still think LeBron's top 5, but I just don't think he's up there with that upper echelon of greats. Those are the greats who, in their era, you could put them on a team by themselves, and you could expect them to win more than half of their games and be a competing team for the finals. With LeBron, I don't know if that's necessarily the case.
I don't know, bro. You throw Kareem in this era, bro. He's Andre Drummond.
I mean, you can throw anybody in any era. I'm just going off basically the area that he played in. He dominated that era. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I congratulate him for that, bro. He did what he was supposed to do, but he's not better than LeBron James, bro.
LeBron James,
and no shape, no form, no fashion, bro. Is he better than LeBron?
So continuing on our NBA recap, we got to look at the 2 major moves that happened. Both of them involving Brooklyn sending their star players elsewhere, more specifically to the Western Conference. So things got started on February 5th. Brooklyn ships Kyrie and Markieff Morris off to Dallas. In return, Brooklyn gets Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks. And then, if that wasn't enough, they flip over 4 days later, and they send Kevin Durant to Phoenix, along with T.J. Warren. And in return, they get Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a 2028 pick swap. And then they also flip Jay Crowder over to the Bucks for some more picks. So, looking at this, just thinking about how this changes the landscape of the playoffs, both in the East and the West. But let's start in the West with these 2 guys as new homes, and let's look at Dallas first. Dallas adds Kyrie to give Luka Doncic another star to play with. So what do y'all think about the pairing so far, and what do you think the pairing can achieve together in their time in Dallas?
First of all, you said...
Assuming Kyrie stays in Dallas past the end of this year, by the way.
You said things started on February 5th. It really started December 21st when Ja hopped in the interview line to Malika Andrews. We find
her fine ass.
Bro, you know how it goes. You get it from the baddie, bro. You just start lying, bro, in front of the baddie.
Okay, he had a little Jordan Poole moment. It's okay. At least it was for a bad one and not a little skinny white girl.
Yeah, he accidentally dropped 10 racks out of his pocket, bro, once he got in front of her, you know.
Big bro came up on the Lambo. Big bro came put up with the Lambo that he, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro, what time you return to my yacht? That's the type of time he was on. You know what? I actually like the Dallas pairing, bro. It's basically like they're running it back, but instead of Jalen Brunson, you run it back with Kyrie. And which is really funny because just last week, Josh said Bronson is better than Kyrie. So we gonna find out how far they get in the playoffs with Kyrie instead of Bronson.
That's crazy. I forgot. This ain't film. This ain't huddle. We don't got game tape. But I did remember saying it, and I think for the most part, I will stand on that. I will say that when you're looking at Jalen Brunson and what he was doing with Dallas, you did have Finney Smith, you did have Dinwiddie to plug those other holes outside of Luka that they already have. Because I'm saying Dallas is already not a very versatile team with those Dorian Finney Smith and Dinwiddie, anyways. So you're just you're taking away a lot of the little. You're sucking the very last of the little perimeter juice and defense and whatnot that you had. So you're gonna throw a lot of that Kyrie's way. But I don't think any of us have ever questioned whether or not he's a good enough playmaker or shot creator on the basketball floor. I think his biggest problem is getting on the basketball floor, staying on the basketball floor. And in the playoff, he's a little James Harden-y in the playoffs. Last year versus Brooklyn, he was, not the best sidekick to KD. But like I've said it before, I said it on Twitter, like that dude's a top 10 scorer of all time. And like we already seen what Luka looks like. He could potentially be top 25 all time down the road. Like he's already killed two iconic perimeter defenders in the playoffs already. We know what Kyrie has big shots in the finals. Like that team is not scoring less than 120 in the playoffs, like in the playoff series. So as much defense as you think you got, as much whatever you think you got rim protection with, like they're just going to make a certain amount of shots and they're going to play offensively at a certain so high of a level that you're going to have somebody like a Ja, like a Jokic that's going to be able to have an offensive weapon. Because if you're going to walk around like,
I ain't gonna lie, you don't want a Jokic to play against Kyrie and Luka because them pick and roll is gonna be hell for Jokic.
I mean,
it's
140 to 138 for sure. But you need to have something. They got a big gun. You need to come back with something that you shooting back too. So it's like, I don't look at a team like the Nets right now that they got Mikal Bridges, their best player. Automatically, I would rule them out of a series versus Dallas. You look at the Clippers. Honestly, I mean they've already been struggling with Luka without Kyrie, and now you add I don't know what Kawhi's gonna look like in the playoffs health wise. Like I would say that Dallas gets them out of a series. So you're looking at the West right now, and it's wide open as ever. And they are one of the teams that has gotten better. And unlike Memphis, doesn't look like they've slid down. So they got a lot of momentum. And like as nasty as the fit might be, as ugly as it might be, those two guys are gonna put a lot of balls in the bucket.
I agree, but kind of to your point, the thing that concerned me when this trade went down is one, it's a short-term move because Kyrie is a free agent this offseason. That is, if he doesn't decide to re-sign with the Dallas in the offseason. And two, they gave away, in my opinion, their two best players not named Luka. Because Spencer Dinwiddie has been that on-ball guy, kind of eating up some of the on-ball duties, so that Luka doesn't have to all the time being a secondary ball handler for them. And then Dorian Finney-Smith is just a versatile guy on the wing, a typical 3-and-D guy who gets a lot of stuff done and also gets a lot of the dirty work done in terms of offensive rebounding and guarding the opposing team's best player. So looking at this move, I like it for Dallas in order to push themselves further in the West. However, it could be a concern with, especially looking at that bench, a unit that has Christian Wood, a guy who's had some injury concerns, also a unit that lost Maxi Kleber earlier this year to an ACL injury. So those so those are, you know what I'm saying? The bench is looking, I'm not going to say it's looking scary, but it's not looking as good as it was before this deal. And that could be something to keep an eye out for as they continue to make a push in the Western Conference and make a push eventually in the playoffs. So now let's flip it over to the big one. The one I could honestly say I didn't see coming. Just hit my phone like almost midnight. Thought I was dreaming.
Yeah, I woke up to it, bro.
Bro, you just had to be so lame. Why you had to say it so lame? Cause like you just got to be lame for it.
What I'm supposed to say?
Like I was dreaming. This man think he juice bro, ain't it?
All right, bro. So anyway, let me tell the real story. So I was at KD house. We had just finished getting some shots up, and then he just, sat down on the bench, started talking. He was like, "Hey, bro, I'm going to Phoenix." I said, "Damn, that's what's up, big bro." And then that's how I found out. But anyway,
Keep going, bro. You lame as hell. Keep going.
That boy couldn't hoop with Kendrick Davis. He couldn't hoop with that KD talking about. KD talking about big bro.
I would hate to pull the clip of you airballing up and put it in this episode, but I'm gonna choose peace since it's Black History Month. So anyway, as I said earlier, KD finds a new home in Phoenix, forming a big three, big four, depending on who you consider the stars there, with CP3, Devin Booker himself, and DeAndre Ayton. You can call it a big
that's
three.
That's a 3-5, baby. That's a KD. That's a 3-5. That's a 3-5. I know that one. That's a 3-5. When you called up, I'm like 4. I'm like, they just traded Bridges. What's the other 3? I'm like, nah, that's a 3-5.
Yeah, the 0.5 Christopher, y'all already.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Chill out, bro. Come on, bro. Big Aiden. That's even on 2K. He like a barely an 80. Cause like he's
still more important than Christopher.
I agree. He's more important than CP3. But anyway, KD joins the West. Phoenix somehow revitalizes their season after not having Devin Booker for half of it and being at the bottom half of the Western Conference. So, just let me hear what y'all think, man. KD to the Suns. How does that make y'all feel? I think it's kind of nasty, but I want to see what y'all think, bro.
Bottom of the toilet nasty, brother. I gotta agree with you on that one. That Brooklyn shit, that's literally the definition of dysfunction. You talking about just 3 guys that thought it would be cool to hang out and work. That's like the typical what they say. Don't room with your friends, your best friends. Don't make your best friends your roommates. Don't go to work with your best friends because they're your best friends. Like just because you're friends doesn't mean it'll make y'all jobs easier or better. And that like played out very publicly for them. Like they played what 20 games.
They played 16 games together. KD, Kyrie, and Harden played a total of 16
and they was on the team together for technically what 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
A year and a half.
God, that's
Simmons in there, bro. It only go up to like 30 something.
He don't even count. He don't even count. Phoenix has got a big ass blessing in my book because it's feel like y'all saying Chris CP3 is the 0.5 and the 3-5. Even he's gonna be diminished as a scorer or a shooter, like just the way that he distributes the ball. And he cries and whines to the refs and he gets calls and it's difficult to say because he's an experienced vet, but he's been in big games, but he hasn't been in the biggest games. But it's like he knows what playoff basketball looks like. So I just think that when you got a core of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, that's already probably the 2 best scorers in the game. And you got a guy in Chris Paul that's literally elite at facilitating and getting guys in the best position to score. It's like, man, when people saying it's like they're the top of the West and, we're in a hyperbolic world and Twitter reactive, but, I don't think that was out there. I think they're the top of the West right now.
Hell no. Bro, Phoenix is not winning the championship. I
didn't say that, but I said right now they're the best team in the West on paper.
They not getting to the finals. They might not get to the conference finals. Honestly,
you didn't hear me what I said. Did you hear what I said, Slime?
All right, I say it again. I'll let you repeat it.
I just said on paper right now, Phoenix is the best team in the West.
No, they not.
Ain't nobody ever went to sleep early and been like, damn, I gotta guard Devin Booker tomorrow. Ain't nobody ever said that, bro.
Come on, bro. No. On paper.
I only like Devin Booker, but people. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Keep going. You said, what about Devin Booker?
No, I'm just saying, like, people, like, people literally do that. Like, yeah, I get. Because my boy Jabari Smith was worried about Embiid last night in Philly. Like, Devin Booker is that type of guy. Like,
that's a real concern.
Booker literally the cover of 2K, bro. Literally the cover of 2K. Like,
you remember when Luka leaned down, whispered in his ear? He ain't been the same since. But
all you gotta do is throw a double team his way. He done for.
Oh God!
Like, come on.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. He the sorriest cold light skinned player in the league, bro.
What?
He the sorriest.
So, you weren't saying this. You weren't saying this 2 summers ago when everybody was comparing him to Kobe, though.
No, I told y'all 2 summers ago that the Suns were never going back to the finals. Does that change a little bit now? Yes, but
they not going back to the finals, bro. It's just like literally
Is Kevin Durant just ass now? Like what y'all
bro, that's the
saying?
softest team I've ever seen, bro. Like, bro, I don't care. They some scorers, they some bucket getters. I won't lie.
And Golden State is tough. It was pretty soft.
Oh my
Play
god. Golden State is still better than Phoenix. If they play them fully healthy, they both fully healthy. I'm taking Golden State.
Oh, my good man.
Bro, no, just think about it. Devin Booker. I'm soft. Chris Paul. You can get in his head, bro. We've all seen it happen, bro. I don't care how much of a floor general he is mentally, bro. You can get in his head. Who else? Kevin Durant, bro. He's a scorer. He gonna get his 30.
He's the best player on the team, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
you
the
know,
best player on the team.
Aiden soft, bro. Caught a nail, bro. He can't even take criticism for his head coach. Monty Williams is the most unproblematic dude we know. And why are you beefing with Monty Williams, bro? He just trying to make you a better player. So all you gotta do is get in their head. So let it be a matchup that they don't want, bro. They gonna get sent home packing in 6. I'm telling you. I hope they play the Bills again. Matter of fact,
Hey, Jose Alvarado.
bro. That's the
You talking about soft? You know what soft? Zion's soft tissue. That's what soft. That's what you mean soft. Like, come on, bro. Ingram's too. Like, it's man. That shit is like a long game in the playoff, especially. So,
I kind of want to jump back to y'all's discussion about the Phoenix Suns, bro. They might not be legit this year, bro, but give them a year coming into next season, the 2023-24 season. This is gonna be a good team, bro. This is gonna be a really good team. Especially, yeah. I hate to be the one, bro, but you throw KD in with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton, that's a lot of buckets. And then considering Chris Paul potentially retiring, being done after this year, and the potential for Kyrie to team up in Phoenix like he had originally wanted to do, I think this could be a really scary team.
This man think he on 2K. What he got going on?
That's getting vetoed, buttery.
He's a free agent. You can't veto a free agent, sir.
Nah,
said,
bro. I don't
Kyrie
care.
link up
Mark
with
Cuban
Phoenix?
not letting it. He taking that nigga to Shark Tank, bro. Come on,
Oh,
bro.
they gonna have Kyrie in a box like it's an auction day. I veto one trade, one
Like
black
they did
man to
DeAndre
Phoenix.
Jordan.
Cut that out, Nick. That was a very Black History Month of me. Cut that one out. That was fucked up.
Yeah, that's my dog. Fool.
I see them man got ice spice in the crib. I was feeling you.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. Like, it sounds good, but I'm not. I mean, DeAndre Ayton ain't made an All-Star team. I don't see him ever making one. We just talked for 5 minutes how soft we think Devin Booker is, and KD is what gonna be 36 after this season. Like, he's not built like LeBron. Like, how many more quality seasons do we see him playing past 38, 39?
Hey, bro, he always gonna give you at least 20 to 20.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You're looking at, in my opinion, the
But that
best
nigga gonna be Joe
scorer
Johnson in 18 months. Y'all gonna be sick.
He's the best scorer in the NBA right now, and he's a 7-footer that's scoring with ease, bro. So I don't really see no slowing down for KD. If you remember, throw it back a couple of years, bro came in and had 12 versus the Raptors before he tore his Achilles on just catch and shoots, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's no slowing him down, bro.
I don't know, bro. I feel like
And he's also, in my opinion, he's also one of the best players to build a team around that we've seen in the NBA. Kevin Durant. Think about it, bro. He took the Nets team by himself, no Harden.
he's just an NBA hoe. He just like up for the block. He like he had the player club diamond ass nigga.
I mean, I'm
He's
just
the
saying,
biggest
if I spent the first half of my career playing alongside Russell Westbrook, I'd be mad too.
Okay, respect.
Thank you.
That's wild.
That is respect. I don't know. It's just like we've seen him try to do this before, put the team together for kind of the situation where he wants to go to, and it didn't work. I don't think ultimately, I think that this is karma for like this is not how basketball is supposed to go. It's supposed to be more competitive and more, more parity than this. All the guys in the team that you like ain't supposed to go on the same team and team up and be the best team.
I mean, I would say the league has had a lot of parity, especially since Golden State has fallen off and things like that. Like this whole season has been nothing but parity. But the return of the super team has come with KD going to Phoenix. And even though the super team is back, I don't think it's something that's going to be necessarily here to stay because people are becoming less likely and less likely to pay those ridiculous luxury tax numbers and not see wins. If you look at what Brooklyn did, they really handicapped themselves by putting that super team together. If you remember all the first round picks they sent off to get James Harden and all the picks they sent off to get Kyrie there. And they essentially everything they did at this deadline was to recoup all of that. They send out Kevin Durant. I want to say they got like 2 or 3 first round picks. They got 3 picks from Dallas for sending Kyrie off, and then they also got picks when they sent Harden to Philadelphia. So this whole situation, in my opinion, has just been a warning on creating super teams. It's a way to do it. It's a way not to do it. And if you do go one route, you're eventually going to have to pay in the long end. And to be honest, Brooklyn is in a pretty good situation considering they just shipped off 3 all-NBA caliber players.
Yeah, bro. They low-key better than the Suns. But we don't have to get into that now.
Wow.
Well, on that rock.
Ben Simmons all of a sudden going just become an all-star again, bro.
This Cam Thomas team.
I agree, bro. So Ben Simmons scores around him now, bro.
You just said that was a little bit too much sass, Nick. I ain't like that. That was a little bit too much.
Y'all want to hear something crazy, bro?
What's that?
As of, I want to say this is, hold on.
The Nets might go to the finals. Like, looking at it now. Like, conference finals. I'm dead serious, bro.
As of Thursday, February 9th, Cam Thomas in his last 3 games, 134 points. Ben Simmons in his last 21 games, 133 points. I rest my case.
Hey, I know this, bro. Thomas, Ben Simmons, Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton,
Cam Johnson too.
Cam Johnson. Like, bro, that's kind of nasty.
All I'm gonna say is this, because this happens to a lot of teams. Like Devin Booker was like this for a little bit of time. Like my boy Evan Turner was out here averaging 19 a game at one point. Like during the course of an NBA game, somebody has to accrue points and stats and accumulate things on the court. Just because that is happening doesn't make, you know what I'm saying, that very good. And I think that that's a Cam Thomas situation where they're gonna be like, hey, little buddy. I mean, you already got the little one suspension, so he's already a gorilla in the coop. So like they're gonna give him the ball. Obviously like to shoot a lot. I don't think they're trying to win anything this year. So they're just gonna wrap him out.
He already in the playoff,
exactly.
Right? Like top 3. It's too late.
They're 5 right now. Amen. First of all,
and it's also like you talking about Cam Thomas, like he ain't been doing this. Bro ain't been playing, ain't been getting minutes, but every time he touched the court, he putting up some crazy stat lines going back to last season. So obviously the boys a bucket. Obviously, I think they're mortgaging a lot of their future on this young core they got. I'm not gonna say Cam Thomas specifically or any of these other guys, but they have some good buildable pieces and a lot of draft assets to make that team a very good contending team in the next few years. So we done talked a lot about the Brooklyn Nets and the moves they made, shipping Kyrie and KD off. But now let's look at the rest of the NBA. And let's start here. One of the bigger moves outside of Brooklyn happened in LA is they had a lot of movement at the deadline, bringing in guys like Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, all of these guys to bolster their playoff hopes as we push towards the ends of the season. So, A, what do you guys think about these moves? And B, what do y'all think about the Lakers as a potential contender in the Western Conference?
Now, the only thing that the Lakers are contending for right now is to see if Anthony Davis' corpse can be revived and Victor Wembanyama. That's the only thing they're contending for right now. 13th in the West. They're like, we know how crunched up the West is right now. They're outside of the crunched up part. I think they're what we said, 2.5 to 3 games out of first. And,
no, 2.5 to 3 games.
I mean, 10, I meant to say, which is the very back end of the play-in. Never want to be in that situation. I don't even think a 10 seed has one, honestly, in the play-in. And I don't even, once you get past 10, past Utah, a team that, like we know, Lord Markin and All-Star started, it still sounds crazy. But outside of that, they were supposedly rebuilding. So we just saw them play Portland last night. That's a team that's kind of towards the bottom of the West. That a team that if you're actually going to contend for the playoffs, you need to beat. I looked up the score was like 104-87. I didn't bother to figure that out. I think the Lakers lost. Like, Anthony Davis looks a lot like Ben Simmons right now. Nobody can ever say Rob Pelinka's a bad GM again because he somehow got 4 productive players for Russell Westbrook, who literally might be the worst version of a superstar we've ever seen. Like this, I don't think we've ever seen a guy that was the MVP look this bad in the league. Even if he retired, like he could have retired 6 months ago and saved a little bit more of his legacy. It's ridiculous.
All right, I'm gonna stop you, bro. You hate much, bro. Bro, he just had a 20 and 15 game just the other day. So he's still hooping. I mean, he's not doing what he was doing before he got hurt. I agree with that. But to go, just to answer Nick's question, bro, I think it was a great move. Those were great moves. If they would have did it a month ago, I do think it's a little too late for them to make some shake, bro. I mean, they could theoretically get the 10 seed, but I think the other teams that are fighting, that are fighting for that spot are still better than them, bro. You got the Blazers. I think they're better than them. OKC, where LeBron just got the record, beat the brakes off of them, bro. They're better than the Lakers. Golden State is only 2.5 games ahead of them. They're not catching GS. I think they're better than GSW, but they still not going to catch them. Steph's going to be out for maybe about another 2 weeks. I don't even know if the Lakers can catch him by the time Steph Curry gets back. And you know the words are going to be clicking again once he does get back. So great moves. It was just made a month too late.
I agree with a lot of what y'all said. The Anthony Davis thing, I feel like that's a bit too far. He's still averaging 20-12 and 2 in his last 10 games, shooting above 40%. I think he's not the problem there. I think the problem with that.
You be throwing out numbers, and we act like you don't watch the game. Like, did you see what he did against Giannis on the day of the trade deadline? Like, those are supposed to be two of the best big men in the game, and one guy looks like one of the best big men in the game, and one guy looked like a black Frank Kaminsky, and that's just unacceptable for the Lakers. Like the thing about this AD stuff is he was supposed to be to take the mental guy from LeBron. LeBron wasn't supposed to be pushing this hard at 38, coming up on 39, coming up on 40. But AD has continued to be the young, inexperienced, off-hurt version of Anthony Davis in New Orleans versus this superstar top 75 guy that we thought he would be once he forced his way out of New Orleans. So that's the biggest crux.
I think you've been a little bit too hard on him, bro.
I agree, because he still had 23, 16, and 2 in that game.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like he
had 0 stand-ups for your teammate when he broke the NBA scoring record. How about that?
But that's something that got made more of what it was. Like, that's not that big a deal to me, bro. You getting your ass whooped and you want me to stand up and clap for a guy who just got a bucket? Please make it make sense.
Nah, for real. AD's still top 10 in the world, bro, when healthy. I don't care what anybody's saying right now.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think he's one of the better co-stars LeBron has had in recent memory. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he D-Wade, Chris Bosh? No.
I think he's better than
Chris Bosh played no minutes in the last finals game, and you saying he's worse than Chris Bosh. Think about it.
No. I think he, other than like D-Wade in his first 2 years with him, I think AD is the best player he's played with.
Yeah, outside of D-Wade and Kyrie, AD is definitely the best player that LeBron has played with. But anyway, moving on to some other moves and other teams that are trying to make that final push to the playoffs and to an eventual NBA championship. What are some under-the-radar moves, some under-the-radar teams y'all are feeling as the NBA season is starting to wind down and everything is getting serious? And also on the flip side, what teams do you think should have made bigger moves that didn't?
I think it's hard to call a team that was number one on the list for a long time, a team that is under the radar. But I mean, we know in depth about how the Grizzlies have been struggling, but the Pelicans are that other young team in the West that was top 2, top 3 that have been struggling only worse than us, have been struggling worse than the Grizzlies. And, their superstar is like Anthony Davis and the fact that he cannot stay on the court. I would have liked to see them have made a move. They got a lot of young pieces, a lot of young prospects, Dyson Daniels, Kyrie Lewis, like guys that could have been trade-up assets to get a vet, because you look at the veterans on that roster, like Larry Nance Jr., okay, Jonas Valanciunas, okay, it would have been, I'm not against it because I'm for it because I'm in the same conference with them, but, ideally speaking, you would have liked to see them get a veteran presence, somebody that can, a dim-witty, somebody go along CJ McCollum that can, steady the boat. when your young guys are street clothes. So because if you're looking at them at full potential, I might take them over Phoenix, honestly, just because I know that you're a hater on Zion, but the way that dude looks when he's on the court in transition, like, no, that's LeBron-esque, bro. So when you got that combined with Brandon Ingram, a very good all-star, his right, and with CJ McCollum, one of the best scorers in the game, like that's a hard team to beat. Herb Jones, all that. But with Zion and Brandon not getting on the court, they probably could have used somebody at the deadline, especially with them slumping as well, like the Grizzlies.
And I will throw out there, they did make one move. They got rid of Devontae Graham, brought in Josh Richardson, an older guy, not a whole lot of playoff experience. But I think he's going to be a solid wing, especially when you look at the way they play ball, a lot of in-your-face defense, especially on the perimeter. He brings that and also brings some added spot-up shooting as well as playmaking. So I think that was a good move for them. And I also agree with what you're saying. They're a team that started out as one of the best teams in the West, fell off a little bit, but they're kind of starting to come back. But Vance, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give y'all two teams actually, and for the first time ever, I actually agree with Josh, bro. I like the Pels, but or I like the Pels better than the Phoenix Suns. But with that being said, the first team I'm gonna go with is the LA Clippers, bro. They revamped their bench at the trade deadline. Literally got four players just for what, John Wall, basically. Who else did they?
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, John Wall and Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, bro. So you revamp your bench, bro. You give Kawhi and PG some more help on the perimeter. We get Eric Gordon. What's up? Oh man, I can't.
Bones Highland.
Yeah, Bones Highland. And so now you pair them with Terrence Mann. That's a great that's a backcourt right there. Those are three star quality players that you get, and just for basically cheap. I mean, I think Eric Gordon's still on a expiring deal. Bones Highland, he's a young prospect. You're going to figure out what you get from him. But the Clippers, they have a history of having the best six man in the league, bro, when you think about Jamal Crawford or even Nick Young. So even when it goes like
Lou Williams.
Yeah, Lou
Will too. So and Montrez, because they was 1-2. They was 1-2 in six man, but
yeah, bro. Nobody checking for no Montrez hell, dog. It's at the
I'm just
North
saying,
Carolina Police Department.
He was second. He was second in six man of the year vote. Not just giving the man his flowers, man.
You're right. I'm tripping my bad.
Then the second team I'm gonna go with is a team they've actually been making moves since last summer when they signed Josh's favorite point guard in the Eastern Conference. That's Jalen Brunson, the New York Knicks. They actually picked up. They got rid of a player in Cam Reddish that they haven't really been using that much, and they got them a player that they're actually gonna put in the rotation in Josh Hart. And I feel like, I'm not saying they're the best team, but I definitely feel like they can get to the second round and get to 7 games against whoever they play in that second round and possibly get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's a big step compared to not even making the play-in last season. So I'm going to go with the New York Knicks.
Hey, that Knicks pick is a really good pick because they have been on the uptick. Julius Randle's scoring has been up as these last couple of weeks approaching the All-Star break and all of that. But I got two teams for y'all as well. I'm gonna start out with a team that made an under the radar move that's already paying big dividends. And that move is the Boston Celtics bringing in Mike Muscala, bro. That's an underrated move. That's a move that went way under the radar, but Mike Muscala has been paying dividends. He's another versatile big that Joe Mazzulla can throw into the lineup. You look at the guys they already have with Robert Williams starting. You got Hauser,
Grant Williams.
Yeah, Grant Williams. And what's the other big white boy name, bro? Luke Cornett coming off the bench. And now you add Mike Muscala in that mix. And what Mike Muscala brings is a shooter that has unlimited range, not scared to shoot it. A guy who's shooting.
You're talking about basketball, right?
Yeah. A guy who's shooting 40% from 3 over his last 5 games.
That lineup kind of sounding real Blue Lives Matter. Can't lie.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You line up Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, and Mike Muscala in a line, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. But anyway, that was an under-the-radar move for the Celtics, in my opinion, a team that puts up a lot of threes, has a lot of spacing on the court. Every big they have can shoot, with the exception of Robert Williams and Luke Cornett. But just the spacing on that floor, especially come playoff time, when you might have to go deep into your bench because of foul trouble going up against guys like Embiid and things like that, Mike Muscala was a good value addition for the Celtics as a guy who can just put up shots and get buckets for them. But on the flip side, a team that didn't make enough moves to stay competitive, a team that's been sliding in the month of January is the Memphis Grizzlies, man. I hate to say it. But Luke Kennard is not going to help us, bro. Is he a shooter? Yes. Does he add anything else? No. Has he even been shooting well this year when he was healthy? No. But I think the Grizzlies were desperate. Well, the Grizzlies should have been desperate to make a move, especially after seeing everybody else making moves in the West. And with all the picks and young talent on that roster, there's eventually going to come to a point where the Grizzlies are going to have to consolidate that young talent into a proven or another star player to put in there with Ja and DB and Jaren Jackson. And unfortunately, they didn't do it at the deadline. And because of that, first-round exit might be possible for the Grizzlies, as much as I hate to say it.
Chill out, bro. Chill out. Doing way too much right now. Man, you're talking about a team that was 29th in three-point shooting percentage, getting one of the best shooters in the league, regardless of you're talking about the inconsistency to start the season. That he was still getting, 20-ish minutes on a playoff team in LA, despite a very crowded wing rotation. And I mean, talk about can he play defense? I mean, he played defense to take a charge on Jason Tatum in his first game. That's defense right there. So I mean,
we glorifying taking charge.
I mean, bro, it's you get a stat for that, bro. What you mean?
I know that, but it's like just because you get a charge, don't mean you playing defense, bro. Kyle Lowry led the league.
Kyle
Lowry led the league in charges drawn. Nobody is out here saying Kyle Lowry is a great defender.
I mean, actually, they saying he actually is a pretty good defender. But could have got all that ass. But that's irrelevant to the conversation. Bro, I'm saying that we know what Luke Kennard is. We know what, we needed. Spacing for Ja. We're already starting to see some of the things that even Boston did it on Sunday. You're getting into these late clock situations or these playoff-like situations, and they're just throwing a double team at Ja, and they're going to face guard Bane. So you have to provide that spacing for Ja. And regardless of Luke Kennard is actually knocking down shots or not, his reputation as a known shooter and as somebody that people know can knock down the ball, can knock a shot down whether or not he's been making them or not, provides the instant type of spacing that we need for our young point guard that's most special when he's getting to the rack. So we just saw the ghost of James Wiseman get traded for 5 second-round picks. I think for a legitimately good NBA shooter, 3 second-round picks is nothing. It's not OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges, but it seemed like Kleiman and them did all they could do to try to make that happen, and they couldn't. I mean, just because you make a great offer doesn't mean those teams are necessarily trying to trade those players. So, for what they could do was accessible to them at the trade deadline. I think they maximized. So I think that while I paid them to say during Black History Month, I think Luke Kennard can be a great addition to this team.
That's fair. But when you look at the wing, I'm not gonna say Luke Kennard wasn't a good addition. He's a solid addition. You know what I'm saying? Especially for a team that's set and ready for a playoff push. However, when you look at the other wings that were potentially available for Memphis to get, looking at OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, especially after
you can't say available.
They weren't available.
You can't say available about those guys' names.
Those guys were definitely available because
they didn't get shipped, bro.
They didn't get shipped, but Toronto said we offered 4 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. But the Raptors said they wanted a young player. You telling me we couldn't come off Zaire or Santi or any other young guys on the back end?
I don't know, bro. If you give us
that's about 5-6 players, bro. At this point, you're talking about 5 or 6 players. You're talking about 4 players, 4 first rounders, and another guy for a guy that's not an all-star.
But I'm saying the package probably would not have been the same if you throw a player in there, because like I said, they offered 4 first-round picks. If you throw a player in there, of course, some picks are going to fall out. Some of those might become second-round picks, things like that. But I think they should have been more aggressive in trying to put a package together to bring him in. But
his contract's expiring. You can't do that, bro.
That's also fair.
I don't blame the group. Even if it's just like let's say Zaire and two picks, bro. If his contract's expiring like that, you can't trade him. You can't trade for that. You get it for 1 year and that's not going for sure put you over the top. I'm not doing it. So I don't blame the Grizzlies for not doing it. I mean, I feel like they're still gonna have enough capital to get something done. Maybe on draft night, bro. It's not over yet. So I at first I was hating on the Grizzlies for not making a move, but then it came out that they tried. So I'm not pissed off at them, bro. It is what it is.
It's fair, man. It's fair. So now, as we look at the back half of the season, who do y'all like out of each conference? If you had to pick one team right now to come out of each conference, looking at all the moves that have been made, looking at where the teams are currently standing, who would y'all take out of each conference to make it to the finals?
Out the East, I'm gonna have to rock with the Celtics till they prove me wrong, bro. I like the Bucks. I really love the Bucks. You know the Boss Man 99 move was great for them just to have another wing. But I'm still gonna go with Boston for now. I'm looking at the standings. Milwaukee's only half game out of first from Boston.
They just beat them yesterday.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they might get the 1 seed. But Giannis is still the best player in the world right now. But I'm gonna go with Boston in the West, bro. It's it's loaded. I'm just looking. Literally 1 through 13 could go to the finals, and I would not be surprised, bro. No, I lied. Not 1 through. It's literally like 9 or 10 teams. They could go to the finals, and I wouldn't be surprised. But if I had to bet money right now, I want to say the Clippers on paper look the best, but they're not the best, bro. It's something missing, bro. It's like, I am going to say, damn. Oh my God! I can't pick out the West, bro. It's too hard. Bro.
Man, are you shitting on yourself right now? What is
Right,
it?
it's so many teams, bro. I don't know who to pick.
You're not okay.
How about this? Y'all convince me.
Step aside, bro. Step aside.
How about y'all two go and convince me, and I'll pick the better option.
I like that, bro. Oh, Josh, I'm gonna let you take it first.
I feel like this man, this is Skip Bayless as hell, but I'll let you rock out. Body out of y'all.
Nah, fool, you lame as hell, fool.
Bro, and yo, dog in the frame talking about I'm lame. Man, relax, bro.
My dog cooler than you.
Out the East, I think Boston was the safest bet. I wanted to kind of be different because I don't like being like y'all, but I just think that when you got Tatum and Brown, especially how they're both healthy the majority of the time, and they both play the game with a lot of attention all the time. I just think that they're the best bet, especially with Brooklyn dismantling. Out of the West, bro, you have to say at this very moment, you got to say Phoenix. We just saw them secure the 3rd seed last night without KD. Chris Paul is back, Devin Booker is back. They're all kind of firing on all cylinders just in time for the world's best NBA additive to come on and make this a powerhouse in the West. So we've talked about how tight it is. We see the obvious flaw with Dallas with Luka and Kyrie. Some you could probably say that there's a pretty big flaw with us, obviously, with what do we do outside of Ja. Rim protection is a pretty big flaw for Denver. I don't know if Thomas Bryant really fixes that at all. And you look at Phoenix in the West, and that's the first team. That's the only team that you can really look at and not see a really big flaw. So give me Phoenix and Boston right now.
So I'm gonna agree with y'all on the Boston pick. Y'all should have knew that already. I think that's by far the best team in the
East. We
East.
seen you wear that Paul Pierce jersey, bro. You ain't got to convince us about that.
Okay, you're right. But I think that's the best team in the East. I think Jason Tatum should be in one of the leaders when we're talking about MVP conversation. So I'm not gonna go too much into Boston, but in the West, I got a surprise pick. I think this is the year the Clippers finally put it together. We've been waiting on the Paul George, Kawhi, Leonard pairing to finally amount to something. And I think this is the year it does, because now, if you look at the back half of the season, they're both healthy. They're both starting to play really well. And like Vance said earlier, they bolstered that bench, brought in a lot of guys. And even though Vance didn't do it, he left out Mason Plumlee, bro. Mason Plumlee is a great addition, in my opinion, bro.
That's the dude from the Hornets?
Yeah.
They got him?
Yes.
For what?
He was the Reggie Jackson deal.
What the hell?
Exactly, bro. So you add Mason Plumlee, a versatile big off the bench as well, just in case Zubac gets into any foul trouble, anything like that. You got a big who can come in, make plays, score for himself in that dunker spot, and play really good defense. And that whole team, in my opinion, is just one hot streak away from an NBA Finals, whether that be Norman Powell, Bones Highland, Eric Gordon, any other guys on that bench, Terrence Mann, any of those guys get hot during the playoffs, I think the Clippers are going to be a team to beat. And I think this is, like I said, I think this is the year the pairing works out and they make it to the finals.
Mm. Not
The
gonna lie.
only thing I say about the Clippers, I mean, make a lot of good points, but you named a lot of things. One thing you didn't name is a true point guard. Bones Highland is more of a scorer. Aaron Gordon's obviously a scorer. Terrence Mann is, I guess, their best facilitator at this point, but he's not normally a point guard, I should say. So, I mean, I think that's something you should probably look out for, just because their two biggest guys are off the ball guys, wings guys. Paul George can mainly do everything he can do with the ball in his hand, but Kawhi operates best with a guy that can get him the ball on the wing. So that'll be something to check because, in playoff basketball, a guy that can, that we had a long time, like Mike Conley, that can, consistently get you into your offense, get you in your sets, potentially out of the timeout when you really need it or when the crowd is really loud. Stuff like that, that's important. I think that, they don't have a guy that I've seen, do that in playoff situations. So that's the only drawback outside of Kawhi and PG staying healthy that I see with the Clippers.
Would you like to rebuttal, Nick, on why the Phoenix Suns would not get to the finals?
Well, I'm gonna rebuttal his point first. Ty Lue has been playing Paul George at the point a lot as we approach the All-Star break, and he's been playing really well in those minutes. And also with the Phoenix pairing, the first year of a superstar pairing never goes well. You'll remember Miami lost to Dallas in their first 2 years. Golden State had trouble with Cleveland in their formative years. The Celtics had trouble with the Lakers when they first put that trio together. So superstar team ups never go well in those first couple of years. Well, I'm not gonna say don't go well, but don't really win in those first couple of years. It's gonna take some building. So that's why I'm out on Phoenix, and also that bench is horrendous. It really is.
Like Josh, I had the same concern about the Clippers. Soon as Nick said the Clippers, the first thing that ran to my mind is who's their point guard. He answered that with a
lot of bullshit.
Yeah. So, man,
a lot of bullshit. A lot of good players, but no point guard.
The thing is, like, if I had to choose between those two teams or the field, I would take the field. I still would, but
bro, I feel like you really coochie footing around. You gotta pick. You can pick Denver. They're the best team right now.
I know they are, but it's like I don't trust them, bro.
You done already ruled out 3 teams. Like, damn.
I mean, but out of those two, I think I would pick the Clippers, bro, because you have Paul George and Kawhi to match up with KD.
Anybody.
And then their bench is crazy. They're gonna get the points. I mean, Chris Paul doesn't scare me anymore, bro. He an average point. He Kyle Lowry at this point. He okay. He cool. Like, nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have Jose Alvarado, bro. Like, it's what it is.
Chris Paul entering them Jamal Tinsley years, bro. Hate that for him.
It's cool, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna give Nick the dub this time, bro.
This man said Jamal Tinsley.
So another edition of No Cap. Of course, we got to end it with another edition of Game Balls. And I'm gonna go first. Super Bowl Sunday just passed. And I got to give my game ball to Nick Bolton. In my opinion, he was the MVP of that game. He was flying around the field, making a lot of big plays for that Chiefs defense. Finished the game with 9 tackles, a fumble recovery touchdown, almost had 2. Played lights out all game. Really was a factor in that Philadelphia run game, creating a lot of plays, man. So for his performance on Sunday, I got to give Nick Bolton the game ball.
I got you. That was kind of lame considering Rihanna was there, but you pretty lame guy in general, so didn't expect more from you.
I mean, Rihanna ain't got my baby, so.
Ooh, that was real lame too. Golly. As y'all know, I'm residing upstate New York currently. Not the best place to be, but a storied basketball program, Syracuse, New York. Been struggling as recently. Tournament resume pretty much evaporated if they don't win out, but they did start. The first job of winning out is winning the first game. So they upset a ranked NC State team. Center Jesse Edwards hit his first 3-pointer ever. So I will be giving my game ball to the big man from down under. He's been an all-ACC defender. It looks kind of tragic when he gets in the post, but sometimes it goes in, and he puts a lid on the rim. So if they're going to get to the tournament, he's going to have to be a force. And, not going to down your first 3-pointer 5 years into your career. That's a start. So game ball to Jesse Edwards.
We're banning you from giving out game balls, by the way, but continue, Vance.
Well, hold on. What you say, me dog? We got 4 minutes. I ain't gonna kill you. I ain't gonna kill you. It's Black History Month, like you said, we gotta do better.
No, bro, but so as one of probably, I don't know if Josh likes combat sports, but I think I'm probably the biggest fan of combat sports in here in terms of boxing, UFC. So
I'm gonna say I like boxing, USC be whatever.
no, UFC go crazy, bro. I used to feel the same way, but with that being said, I saw the fight of the year, possibly the fight of the year still going on. We only in February. Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski, bro. They both came in with only one.
Did you just curse, nigga? What did you say?
Nah, bro, they from there. They from them countries with the weird last names. They end with ski and all of that. But anyways, it was a great fight. Went all 5 rounds. Championship. It was for the pound for pound #1 ranking in UFC. Islam, he came out with the dub, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him the game ball, bro.
That's hard. I respect it, bro. Nation, stand up.
Honorary game ball to Bria Boston, bro. Also, got about her.
You want to say why you giving her a game ball?
Oh, yeah, bro,
He tried to throw it out there,
bro. She probably ended her career. Well, she didn't end her career. She ended her pro career.
Why are you trying to instigate beef between 2 black women during February?
No. I ain't instigating. She did the instigating on the court. For real.
Bro, I like Aaliyah Boston. She's probably the best center in the women's game since Brittany Griner, which in terms of like dominant force, I mean, obviously all-time coaching Dawn Staley, but that I think South Carolina was undefeated last year, something crazy like that. Pretty much locked up no more pick a WNBA draft, and she probably one of the women like Inaskew and Breonna Stewart that could, transcend WNBA and be like legit famous.
Mm-hmm. That's 100. And so with that, it's another episode of No Cap Sports, and we out of here. Wow.